Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Xinfin Network, aka XDC. And with that being said, let's dive in. Guys, we have an absolute bombshell. Listen, one of the biggest things I've talked about with Xinfin and XDC is how undercovered this asset is. Everyone talks about all of these other these tokens, these projects doing, this, that, gaming, this, whatever. But then like when you bring up trade finance, it's almost like everyone is just like, oh, what is that? Should I even worry about it? Fun fact, Xinfin and XDC have been the most overlooked projects in this space. What Xinfin is doing and what's happening right now around Xinfin is something very special, right? Because we're seeing proof that if you focus on the utility and if you focus on these utility tokens that aren't really, shining amongst all the rest, and like everyone's looking at the shiniest projects in the space, when you really kind of focus on those undercovered projects, you see incredible value, you see incredible moves being made. And when things finally get announced, well, guess what? It surprises those that haven't done the research, that haven't been focused on the big picture. And I want to say a huge shout out to most of you that watch these videos. I'm sure that a lot of you seen the value behind XDC early on. And I'm very happy to have helped anyone and pretty much all of you that watch these videos. Hopefully you guys took an opportunity with XDC early on when we were talking about it at 3 cents, at 4 cents, even 5 cents. The long-term path ahead is going to be very exciting. And we see here the big announcement from the co-founder of Xinfin that now we are seeing US Treasuries tokenized on Xinfin. So CoinDesk rolled it out essentially, exclusive. Private debt and real-world asset marketplace Trade Tech has rolled out a tokenized US Treasury offering called USTY, using the trade finance focused blockchain XDC network as tokenization of real world assets keeps growing. What a big announcement. We see over here, tokenized US Treasuries arrive to XDC network as digital bond market grows. The market for tokenized US Treasuries has grown nearly sixfold to $622 million this year alone, as real world assets on blockchains keep expanding. What's very exciting about this is the names tied to this platform, which we will go over. So we have USTY tokens accessible on TradeTech's platform and issued on XDC network represent shares in a US Treasury bond ETF. Tokenization of real world assets such as government bonds could grow to a $5 trillion market, expert says. TradeTech, a UK-based private debt and real-world asset marketplace, on Tuesday rolled out a tokenized US Treasury offering on the Layer 1 blockchain XDC network, the firm said. We see down here that the US Treasury yield tokens represent blockchain-based versions of shares in a US Treasury bond exchange traded fund ETF and are accessible for professional investors on TradeTech's Yield Tech platform. Tokenization service provider Securitize onboards buyers, tracks share ownership, and manages dividend payouts. And we also see down here that the new offering comes as tokenization has become one of the hottest trends in the battered down digital asset industry. A Bank of America report said that the tokenization of real-world assets, creating blockchain-based tokens of traditional financial assets such as government bonds or private equity, could transform the financial infrastructure, while Bernstein forecasted it could grow a $5 trillion market in the next 5 years. Demand for tokenized treasuries has grown nearly sixfold to $622 million this year. Crypto firms and investment funds seek these products to enjoy higher government bond rates, while yields in crypto lending have plunged amid massive deleveraging during the bear market. XDC joins a fierce competition between blockchains to be the premier venue for tokenized assets. Stellar and Ethereum are the leading markets for tokenized treasuries, but other networks are also making headway with RWA adoption. JP Morgan executed trades with tokenized versions of the Japanese yen and the Singapore dollar using the Polygon-matic network, while Securitize issued equity tokens of real estate investment trust on the Avalanche blockchain. I don't really look at this as a competitive market. Honestly, I think that's exceptional to mention the fact that all of this is happening in crypto. Again, this market is so overlooked right now while all of this is happening. We see over here, this is posted by Lodge over on Twitter. I am Papa Lodge, love the @name. We see from Yield Tech that this is USTY, US Treasury tokens, and we see the fund manager down there is none other than Blackrock Asset Management. And we also see the administrator being State Street. This is actually very interesting. This is something to mention because these are two of the largest fund management and fund companies out there. I'm sure that you guys are all aware of BlackRock, State Street, and even Vanguard. This is a crazy moment for XDC. We also see over here from CryptoNair D, XDC traded transformation of private credit sector driven by digital technology trade tech. BlackRock recently purchased one of Europe's largest private credit lenders, Kreos Capital, while the UK's largest corporate pension fund, BT Pension Scheme, is now investing heavily in the sector. This is where tech such as TradeTech's workflow automation and repackaging services come into play. And yeah, you know, as we really kind of look at this, I want you guys to understand that we are on the cusp of a massive transformation. I keep telling you guys this. I know I sound like a broken record. I get it, right? You know, you guys probably hear all the talk about trillions this, trillions that. It gets repetitive, it gets tiresome. But the reason why I talk about this and the reason why I say this so much is to get my point across. There is so much money out there. Everyone always looks at how much money is in circulation. Look at how much money is locked behind these platforms and these markets. I mentioned over on Twitter, going back to July 25th. Now, I didn't include XDC on this tweet. And even somebody said you didn't include XDC on purpose so that people would comment, well played. I said organic marketing. As we really kind of look at this post, right? Like I said, take a second to think about the power behind tokenization. We have real estate, 300 plus trillion, equities markets, 100 plus trillion, debt market, 300 plus trillion, derivatives, 600 trillion, projected to be 1.2 quadrillion. This value changes quite a bit. Notional value is 600 trillion. Securities financing repurchase 4 trillion. Securities lending 2.9 trillion. Asset management / fund administration 89 trillion. Remember, everything of value will be tokenized eventually over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. And it seems as though it's happening a little bit quicker than I thought. We will see tens of trillions of dollars flowing into the space through tokenization. Focus on the heavy hitters that are creating the infrastructure for this to happen. Some great choices are, drop your choices below. And listen, as we really kind of take a step back and we look at what is going on, everything around us is changing. And I mentioned 2 tweets as well. This one was just saying the world around us is changing rapidly, and if you blink, you will miss it. We have seen continuous moves being made within digitization and tokenization of everything around us. My full focus is on these great utility tokens, XDC obviously being one of them. Welcome to the future. Within this, I also did post this back in July. It was the end of July, and I was talking about MLATR. And of course, this is from the Xinfin co-founder as well. And if we look at this, right, he said rollout begins for MLATR. That's what he said. It begins for MLATR. XDC is now one of the most bullish tokens in the space. Mind you, this was the end of July. We have been researching / watching this project grow for over 2 years now, and it has been extremely exciting. Everything is aligning for mass adoption of this technology. I kept saying that trade finance will be one of the first markets to realize the value of blockchain and DLT since it's lacked any innovation changes in the last few decades. Many of these markets are, or even were, ripe for disruption, and it is now officially starting. The age of utility is upon us, and I am so damn happy to be holding XDC. Welcome to the future of trade finance. And guys, the future is upon us. It really is. And you know, it's so exciting. It's so exciting to see this transformation happening. Like, even if we look at trade finance, we look at tokenization, like all of this combined is so damn exciting to be ahead of the game, right? Like, we're ahead of the major institutions out there. I keep saying this. And even the UK Parliament, right? Written evidence showcasing XDC Trade Network solution for trade finance transformation. They already gave us an insight on how disruptive XDC Trade Network is around the Electronic Trade Documents Bill, which goes into effect at the end of September. Everything is looking up for utility. I want you guys to realize this, right? Like, I get it, right? I get it. It's so hard to focus on, a lot of things when you're only focused on one thing, which, listen, I understand the idea of focusing on price. Price is a big thing. It is, right? We all want to get, rich off of these assets. We want to get rich off of our investments. We want to make a lot of money. And I get that. But I want you guys to understand that things take time. And this is one of the biggest innovations out there. We are seeing trade finance as a whole being completely disrupted. We are seeing the debt markets being completely disrupted. We are seeing every single major market around us being disrupted. And it's all focused heavily on DLT, blockchain technology, and these extremely undervalued tokens. I mean, think about it like this, right? Like, I made this tweet talking about these markets, talking about the valuations, not because these valuations are, huge and it's so like alluring to the public to really kind of look at these values and say, oh, wow, like that's incredible. No, it's to put it into perspective. Like, we're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars here in these markets, yet all of crypto is worth a staggering $1 trillion. At its all-time highs, $3 trillion. Think about that real quick. We are disrupting hundreds of trillions of dollars, yet we're only worth one. Over the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, this market will see over a 100x growth in terms of not only adoption, value, and even volume, but also the entire space as a whole is going to change. Once utility is the full focus, it's game over. We're already kind of starting to see it. I think that 2023 has been the age of utility. I think that this is where things are starting to change rapidly. I think that we're starting to see a spotlight being put on a lot of these tokens and these projects. And I think that these big announcements like this, should 100% be focused on, not in the sense of how bullish it is, but how great it is to see a network like XDC finally be spotlighted and finally have people realize how big of a giant XDC is finally becoming in this space. We're at that moment in time where people are finally realizing the value behind these networks and these projects like XDC that are so heavily overlooked and heavily ignored. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.